Let's start learning our article writing concepts.
Article writing is very easy once you know where your article is going to be published.
Yes, that's a beautiful point. Before that, we need to know what is a journal, and in another perspective, here a journal is a magazine that focuses on a particular discipline or subject matter.
Yes, your article is meant for a journal. So let us know what a journal is. Journal means A, it focuses on a particular discipline. B, it is periodical. The periodicity is very, very important. And then it should be very, very regular. Either weekly, monthly, quarterly, it makes no difference at all. It must contain articles. It must contain several other things like book reviews and editorial also.
So this comprehensively can be called a journal. Okay.
There are many types of journals.
Yes, we can list one after another. Something like scholarly journals, academic journals, professional journals.
And all these journals are peer-reviewed journals also. Sometimes these scholarly, academic and professional journals may not be peer-reviewed. Right? Sometimes they are peer-reviewed also. And you have also current affairs and then trade journals.
Which are non-peer reviewed. It doesn't need a peer review. Because it itself is a review.
You scholars may be using articles not necessarily from scholarly journals or academic journals. You can even get information relevant to your subject of study from current affairs or peer-reviewed journals or trade journals also.
So you can start writing all these type of journals in a short while. It's essential to have your experience spread across all these areas or types of journals. So to enhance your skills.
I would much rather say that you will be drawing material from different kinds of journals, but you will be writing only to scholarly journals.
Exactly. Okay. Now, what are the advantages of using journal articles?
See, when you are using a journal article, that information is definitely peer-reviewed and therefore authoritative.
Yes,
whatever information you get from that article is authoritative. It is also current. It is not last year's information. It is a current information.
It's digestible with understandable structure. We will talk about the structure in a different, little while from now.
Yes, it gives information about the topic you have chosen, that particular topic, and it also answers questions you want answered, or findings also will lead to new questions.
Okay, so these are all that. So as well as there is a disadvantage component. When are they not useful?
We will not be using any journal article if the subject area is not introduced in that, or your particular topic is in no way brought into that particular article.
That's the main thing. Let's get into the section of paper, that is how the structure of the articles are going to be
medical
defined.
Students call it as anatomy. The anatomy of a paper is first it should have the abstract. Of course, it is very redundant to say it should have a title. Yes, first is title, and then your authors' names and where they work and all those stuff, and then abstract, introduction, materials and methods, results, discussion, acknowledgements. In other words, acknowledgements are nothing but your bibliography or references, whatever you call it. I'm sorry. Acknowledgements are people who helped you, or institutions which helped you to produce this particular article. Literature cited is the citation,
reference material, bibliography,
all
those things pertaining to the article, whatever you have sourced the information from and based your article on.
Yeah. Appendices are optional, like our own appendix. Even if that appendix is not existing, our digestive system will be working like that. Maybe you will use a map or a photograph or some information to give more weightage to your paper. These things will be appendices. Fine.
Finally, we will talk about what is an abstract. That is, what did I do in a nutshell? That's what is called an abstract.
Exactly.
So in another one, what is an introduction? What is that introduction talks about? What is the problem that we are going to discuss
The
in the
problem
article?
you have taken to solve, highlight or find a solution to. That will form the introduction.
So
And
then comes the materials and methods. So what that talks about? It's all talks about how did I solve the problem?
yes, you solve the problem by reviewing literature. You solve the problem by conducting a particular kind of research study. It can be experimental before and after, or simply a survey method of research. You can do anything, right? In other words, you collect empirical data and then
Publish the
put
results.
it in a tabular form, analyze, and what you have is result. Result is what you found out of your study.
Or experiment, you can call it.
And then
Finally, it is a discussion. We have a discussion component where what does it mean?
in other words, the results.
results.
The results are discussed here. You project them in different ways. It can
Maybe
be
a
a table, or a
graph.
pie diagram, or a graph, or whatever. And finally, you say, this is the meaning of the
Result.
information I gathered, collected. Fine.
And correlated with materials and methods.
Exactly.
And finally, one more is the acknowledgements we are going to take up. That is an optional one. Who helped me out is what it meant by acknowledgement.
It may be a particular guide who guided you, or it may be a particular institution that provided you the subjects or the experimental people.
Sometimes people get inspiration from their own moms and dads and they
Exactly.
dedicate a paper there.
Exactly.
You would have seen in some books.
Exactly. And also it refers to the tools which you have used and where you drew those tools from.
Exactly.
Sometimes we require certain tools for your structured schedule, structured questionnaire, and all these things can be acknowledged properly. It is only optional.
Okay, then comes the literature cited or the reference material or bibliography. Whose
Suppose-
work did I refer to is
It
what
can-
it means.
It can be the books you referred to, or journals, articles in journals, or even newspaper items.
Yeah,
All these-
there is a method or there is a procedure and a protocol in expressing all those things. It's what citation process we follow, like APA culture or whatever. But we will talk about it in detail later.
Fine. And finally, you may use appendices also, but it is definitely not going to be most essential thing for writing a paper. It only adds some more color to the paper. It gives extra information in the form of a map or a photograph, or it can be anything, even a video. In case of a multimedia journal.
That is what we journals.co are promoting. Yes, let's get introduced to all the topics in more detail in coming videos. Okay, thanks for joining us. Bye bye for now.
Bye bye.